Have you ever sat outside on a warm rainy night by your lonesome, smoking a joint, just praying that one day you'll have somebody else to ignite with? Or maybe your hokey homies are the lamest, tamest, inhumanely boring people in the solar system to spark a light with? Well, in this video we're gonna get hypothetical. I'm going to go over every single Marvel Rivals hero and try my damnedest to explain my dream blunt rotation with all of them. So enough wasting your precious time. Let's start off with a doozy. Wolverine. Now I feel like smoking a hoagie with Logie would be quite the experience, because you gotta remember, even though his entire body is formed out of impenetrable matter, he's a big softy at heart. So if you soften him up a bit and get him a little lit, then he'll start spieling the shit. I think an intoxicated conversation with Logan would change your life for the better, since he's sure to have lived far more traumatic experiences than you, and that would probably lighten your mood dramatically. Speaking of changing your life, you should join my new Discord server. It's pinned in the comments. Moving on to the next existential experiencer, we got Mr. Barnes. Now I'm a bit worried about this one because Bucky was brainwashed, right? Meaning if he were to smoke up that wackathy tobacathy, then you have no idea what could happen. For all I know, he could tap back into that super assassin brainwash state and immediately pull his gat out of his gat and penetrate me before I can even react. But let's say he stays sane after he stains his kidneys. Then I reckon he'd still be a bit lame to smoke with. Cause as someone who is unfamiliar with the Marvel universe, Bucky comes off to me as a quiet, focused man, meaning I don't think he'd be much of a talker. But on the polar opposite spectrum of Bucky Barnes, we got Venom. Now there's only two things that could happen upon the marijuanaization in Venom's body. One, he stays mentally insane and the weed only makes him worse, which means you're getting a free 19-inch enchantment with the curse of binding. Or two, he actually mellows out a bit and starts delivering a philosophical speech about his history and origins. But we can all agree that option 2 is a bit of a stretch, so Thor. I mean, we've already seen Thor as an alcoholic on the big screen, and he seemed to be enjoyable enough for the most part. He was even playing Fortnite with his boys, so I reckon the ganja wouldn't be much different. Instead, it would only make him funnier and even more enjoyable to chill with. So for once, I'm gonna give Thor a pass on something, because this would make for a truly shocking experience. Speaking of shocking, I have no idea how a hotbox session with Storm would go. I just know she's hot, no box. I'm a little worried she'll get nervous like some people do after smoking and end up starting a class 5 tornado, which if that doesn't already seem bad enough, you gotta remember that she's boofed up, meaning the wind coming off of the storm is gonna smell like straight skunk gussy. So yeah, hell no. Star-Lord. If this is Chris Pratt's Star-Lord, then I'd smoke with him every day. He's just a down-to-earth person, ironically, since he's barely on Earth. Quill's one of the main reasons I enjoyed watching Guardians of the Galaxy so much as a kid, due to his goofy-ass charisma. And I feel like that would transfer exponentially well in terms of smoking. But now that we're on the topic of Peters, let's talk about Peter Parker. If Spider-Man were to take a whiff of that ganja, I think he would benefit greatly. Think about all the dope-ass stories he could share with you if he was high. Not only that, but the way he would describe some of the stories would most definitely get you cackling. Since Peter was a teen for the majority of the story, I think Mary Jane would only bring him good blessings. And that way he can ease that teen anxiousness, you know? Speaking of blessings, it would be a blessing to give Squirrel Girl some weed if she were near me, because that would give me an ample opportunity to escape the premises undetected, because I don't want this nasty woman opening up about her animal kinks with me, especially when I'm under the influence. That shit would make for a major panic attack. There is one exception to this, however. If we were smoking in her dope-ass treehouse, then I'd be all for it. Scarlet Witch. Have you ever had the experience of smoking with the woman of your dreams? Maybe you're sitting on a dock out by the lake counting the stars, laying next to your longtime crush, just shooting the shit, talking about whatever crossed your mind that day. All the while you're passing a blunt back and forth trading STDs. Yeah, no, me neither. But I feel like this is how it would go, smoking with the witch. We'd be like Zooted, Lilo, and Stitch. Rocket. I could get down with smoking a fanny pack with this fella. I'm pretty sure if my memory recalls right, Rocket's a super genius. And if all those weed scenes in shows and movies regarding high geniuses prove to be true, then I'd learn a thing or two from the coon. So I'd be willing to choo-choo with Raccoon as long as he fills my ear with knowledge in a way that soothes. The Thing. I don't even know if this boulder is even able to get high. But I do know one thing though, and it's not that bitches come and go. It's that smoking while there's a sober person present is always a beneficial thing. And if the thing isn't able to light up, then he would make me feel more secure about my surroundings, which is always a welcoming thing. So I'd let loose with Mr. Grimm Saturday through Sunday, Monday through Sunday, yo. Frank Castle. I've never once seen this man smile in a non-maniacal way before. So if he were to lighten up a bit upon inhaling the boof gas, then I'd be unlocking a secret never before seen side of the Punisher. Plus the dude's an absolute unit, meaning I'd feel very safe in my vulnerable state. I feel like Frank's got some stories stories that only good Gonda could cause him to expedite. Psylocke. Dude, imagine the lore Psylocke would drop on you if you let go of her limitations. Psylocke's always been an interesting character to me ever since I learned about her multi-body lore. So just thinking about lighting a few candles and relaxing whilst listening to the psychic warrior ramble about personal issues sounds like such a delight to me. I don't know, I get Cyberpunk Edgerunners vibes whenever I look at Psylocke, so if rotating the blunt with her feels anything like I'd imagine it would in that show, then I'd do it in a heartbeat. Peony Parker. She is underage, which means this would result in illegal activities. My lawyer advises me to move on. No more. Didn't he like strike against the human race or some shit? I'm sure that would make for an interesting story. I'd probably smoke with him. Especially if he has his shirt off. Moon Knight. As I said in the last epic Marvel Rivals video, I have yet to see this fella's facial features. So as long as he isn't one of those whack-ass weirdos who smoke through their mask, I'd get to learn something. And Moon Knight is also a very mysterious character in my eyes. I personally know nothing about this man whatsoever, so passing a blunt with him would fill me in nicely. That's what she said. Mr. Fantastic. We wouldn't even have to pass the blunt back and forth. He could just elongate his shit straight into my mouth. Pause. Has anyone else had an experience where after they smoked, they unlocked a secret ability from within them? Like the first time I smoked, I realized I could whistle. I've literally tried my entire life to whistle, but I couldn't until after I smoked for the first time. So who knows what kind of shenanigans Reed could read upon delving into the devil's lettuce. Mantis. The way a smoke session would go with Mantis depends on your relationship with her. If you're her enemy, then you're in for a rude awakening, because she's just gonna use her powers to geek you the fuck out. But if y'all are tight, then you're gonna have the best kush ingesting session of your life, because she's gonna tap into your emotions and make you feel absolute euphoria. Magneto. After a quick Google search, I can confirm that Magneto is a very old fart. But in this case, that is a good thing, because that means he's wise. Magneto on the hashish would make for a life-altering innuendo. Let's hope you didn't fry your brain enough to forget what he said once you wake up, because the knowledge this man would drop on you is only something the weed god himself could replicate. Magic. This reminds me of all those 80s movies featuring teens smoking in the back alley with their friends. I don't think hitting that sticky icky with Miss Magic would be very beneficial in the long term. However, I'd still do it, because who wouldn't want to light one up with a goth mommy? Luna Snow. This would just be like smoking casually with my wife. Only I could do it. Y'all wouldn't be authorized to smoke with Luna because she's my woman. And unfortunately for you, I'm not a massive advocate for the Rumble platform, meaning I don't like watching other men do activities with my kitten. Genuinely though, imagine the atmosphere of smoking in the same room as Luna. After a while, she starts melodically harmonizing in the background while you start to see fuzz. That should be ethereal. Loki. I feel like I'd feel very insecure smoking with the Loch Ness monster, because he just seems like the type of guy that would pretend to get high and then leave you all alone in Cloudy Land. Also, he's a very well-known villain, so I probably wouldn't trust any form of narcotics he gives me in the first place. Jeff the Land Shark. Dead ass, who wouldn't smoke with Jeff? Like, yeah, I get it, he's a baby in the grand scheme of things, but when has passing a blunt between infants ever gotten anyone hurt? I wouldn't understand a single word that mutters out of this non-mammal man's mouth, but I sure would soak in every second with all the joy it would bring. Oh, Jeffy, my beloved, please bring me an ounce of your finest seaweed. Tony Shart. 50-year-old superhero billionaire tech genius. Of course I'd hit the haystack with him. Maybe after a few passes I could finally get the chance to meet and speak to Jarvis, and then get him to bomb that family a town hall. Iron Fist is in desperate need of weed. So much so I wouldn't even smoke with him. I'd just give him everything I've got, cause this dude needs to fucking chill. I'm so exhausted after getting constantly R. Kelly butt fucked in the back of the map via Iron Fist every single game I play. At least in Overwatch whenever I get fisted it's by Steve Harvey. In Marvel Rivals I'm just getting violated by Jackie Chan. It's not the same. Invisible Woman. To be honest, I can't think of anything clever to say about Sue. I just think it'd be very entertaining to watch a floating blunt being smoked by nothing. And the only other person in the world that could replicate that is John Cena. And unfortunately I'm not famous enough to meet him yet. Human Torch. I don't think the flaming blaze of agony needs any more blazes in his life. If we were to light up a specialized blaziken, then I'd want to be at least 10 miles away from any gasoline source. I don't actually know if Mr. Torch is a good guy or not, but judging off of a quick glance, I would assume he isn't the nicest pea in the pod, so I think I would stand well clear of the flaming seer. Big Bruce Banner. Has Hulk ever actually tried smoking pot before in the Marvel Universe? If he hasn't, then that's a huge missed opportunity. I feel like the writers ignoring this goofy ass plot hole is simply just a crime, but if they haven't done anything with this idea and want to work something out, then I'd totally be up for a quick paycheck for coming up with the idea. Maybe they could even write me into the scene getting smashed by the Hulk after the weed somehow makes him angrier. Hella. Giving the goddess of death a blunt doesn't exactly seem like the greatest idea. Then again, no one in their right mind would pass up the opportunity to pass gas with a fine ass like helicopter. So obviously I'd do this. I have a weird feeling that she'd actually be quite mellow in the fog state. Like she'd probably serve up some pretty entertaining conversations while within this special realm. Hawkeye. Now I have a differing opinion depending on what version of Hawkeye we're talking about. If we're talking about the Hawkeye from the movies, then I'd smoke with him on the daily, because he seems like a pretty laid-back dude. Marvel Rivals Hawkeye, on the other hand, doesn't seem like a nice fella at all. But I couldn't imagine NetEase changing his character personality, so I'm just gonna assume he's the same like he was in the movies. So I'd kick back and mooch on the manga with Clint. Groot. If Groot were to smoke Mary J, wouldn't he just become a healthier tree? Like if he were to smoke on a consistent basis, maybe he would start to grow buds off of his trunks, creating a walking weed farm. And if that's the case, that means it would be a legal weed farm, because the police can't physically remove a US citizen's body parts and confiscate them for evidence. So there you go, drug dealers. I found a loophole in the system. Doctor Strange. Bro, you would get an existential experience smoking with a DS. I wonder if intoxicants would fuck with Strange's abilities and affect the different outcomes he can see. Maybe he could use for a release like that. I'm just thinking about all the chattering he'd be doing about smart space shit after we go down a few joints. That'd be some top-notch yapping. Cloak. Since Cloak's body is just floating fart gas, the boof would just pass through him, rendering his nervous system unaffected. And the dude looks like he stinks at his base state, so I wouldn't want to be anywhere near him when other stinky substances are present. Dagger, on the other hand, would be an enjoyable puff buddy. I know a lot of y'all are similar to Conquest, not in regard to you being an insanely powerful being, but because deep down you're all incredibly lonely. But if you've ever smoked with a blonde woman before, then you'd know they're a very fun cannabis candidate. I mean, at least I think. I haven't actually experienced that either. Captain America. Now I know I've said an awfully lot of awful things in the past regarding Cap, but maybe a little riff of the reefer could rekindle our companionship. I don't know why I hated on Cap so hard in the past. Maybe it's because I'm jealous that he gets to represent the great US of A instead of me, or because he's just a more distinguished gentleman. Either way, I think we could hash things out if we were to hop on the hash together, and I reckon he'd be a very friendly fella throughout the entire process. Black Widow. Now if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't want to smoke with regular Black Widow, but if we're talking about Black Widow from the thumbnail where she's rocking the Ash Overwatch attire, then I'd be on that jit in an instant. There's something so satisfying about watching a southern looking person puff on a stick of flavored death. I don't know, the aura to it has always caught my eye. Black Panther. It's cool because there's a few people in the world who have probably actually gotten the chance to smoke with the real Black Panther before. And to those few lucky people who are definitely watching this very important video, I salute you. I would 100% sit down with the Wakanda and talk with him for hours about whatever it is that's on his mind. Most of these characters all have intriguing backstories just waiting to be spoken about that only the proper mood can unlock. And I feel like the environment of smoking is just the perfect key to that. Last and least, we got Adam Warlock. Now I know this man has something called cosmic awareness or some shit, so I wonder how that would work. Like if he smoked a doobie, would he be able to bestow the untold secrets of the universe? Nah, I'd probably have to do LSD for that to happen. Since Adam's got telepathy, is that right? Telepathy? Whatever the fuck. We could just loathe in our loft and telepathically communicate without even having to physically move. It'd be great. Adam would probably be one of the best heroes out of them all to smoke with, to be honest. Maybe even the best. But that's all I have for you today. I may or may not have to take a massive shit right now, so I'm gonna respectfully wrap this video up before I drop Nagasaki in my britches. Love you, Schnookies, and I'll see y'all later.